City. It's the Spurs' first meeting of the year with Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks here on KSAT 12. As far as the Spurs are concerned, though, the biggest news of the day happened off the floor, as a Baltimore court apparently has cleared the way for the potential return of David Wingate.
I think a few things have to happen. One, the league has to approve it, and I think that's going to happen. A contract has to be worked out, and I hope that can be done. And then Red has to be satisfied with what the courts decide. And if those three things are taken care of, I'm sure he'll be back.
Welcome to New York. Dave Barnett along with Greg Simmons, the Spurs and the Knicks, and Greg Leary referred to Red, of course, Spurs owner Red McCombs, who apparently is satisfied that this does clear the way.
Just issued a statement this afternoon saying in effect that he feels like this clears the way for David Wingate. He is satisfied that it has satisfied his criteria, of course, which was that David Wingate had to clear up all of his legal problems before he could return to the Spurs. The only thing that leaves now, of course, is contract negotiations, a report from the NBA if they'll allow him back in, and they think that this will be a rubber stamp. And he could be back in uniform with the Spurs as early as Sunday when they take on the Washington Bullets in Landover.
Now, on the floor, the Spurs have made NBA-wide headlines because of their back-to-back sweep of the Portland Trailblazers on the heels of a 4-game losing streak. It was amazing, and it was nice to see the return to defensive dominance of David Robinson.
You got it. How do you beat the best team in the NBA? You do it with defense. Watch what he does to Clyde the Glide Drexler here, trying to penetrate. That is David Robinson, one of the best rejections you'll ever see. One of 6 blocks on the night. More importantly for David, he also had 21 rebounds. That ties his career high. So the Admiral and the defense are back in San Antonio.
Good timing, because no doubt these are 2 of the 3 best centers in the NBA right now that we're going to see tonight, Ewing and Robinson.
Patrick Ewing, what a dominating force inside he is. And David Robinson can get up for Patrick Ewing like no one else. Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing's always big games for David Robinson. And more importantly for Patrick Ewing, he's playing one of his best games, coming off of one of his best, against the Washington Bullets, in which they won in double overtime, 112 to 109, and Ewing fired him up. 30 points and 20 rebounds in that game as well.
All season long, without doubt, New York has been the biggest disappointment in the NBA. Some signs of life recently with a 3-game winning streak, which was keyed by an offensive change by John McLeod.
Someone say win streak? That's something new here in Madison Square Garden. The key has been a new offense. It's a passing offense, and it fits Gerald Wilkins to a T. During that 3-game win streak, he has scored 20-plus points in each and every game. And one reason why they're getting the ball, he says it's the perfect offense for him because he loves to shoot on the move.
If you zero in on the biggest problem the Knicks have had, it's been home cooking. They haven't had any. They're the first team in 14 years at this point of the season to have a better road record than home record.
It's incredible. You take a look at the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks, and they're only second to the Cavs this season. Look at that. 12 and 17 for the home, 35 and 6. That was in 89-90. So you see the biggest drop-off between the 2 seasons. They're second only to the Cavs as far as home wins and home losses. And they're second only this season in the worst home record to the Miami Heat. Hard to believe you can win more in the run. I think one problem is playing in front of this crowd here in the Garden. Once you get down and you get down early, this crowd doesn't let you forget.
They do turn nasty. Robinson and Ewing, the Spurs and the Knicks coming away right now for the first time to the Spurs Center, and Cordell Patrick.
All right, thanks a lot. Welcome to the Spurs Center. Cordell Patrick with you. Let me introduce you to our 2 analysts in the studio tonight, Paul Griffin, Kobe Dietrich. Thanks for dropping by, guys. New York Knicks, San Antonio Spurs coming your way in just a matter of moments. When you talk about the Knicks, you have to talk about the guy in the middle, Patrick Ewing. David Robinson will have his hands full as well as his teammates. It's going to have to be a team effort to stop him.
Oh, yes, it always has to be a team effort. But Robinson gets up for Patrick Ewing. He's one of the top 3 centers in the league, and you know, David plays him quite well, and I think you got to watch out for Wilkins, and you know, he's been on a roll. Ewing's going to get his, and you just don't want to get the other guys to go crazy on you. I mean, you got to stop them.
I mean, when you look at the talent of the New York Knicks, Kobe, maybe you can help me. Why is a team like this, loaded with that much talent, how come they can't win at home?
Well, it's a tough crowd, you know, the Dangerfield, tough crowd, but I think they've had a lot of problems within the team, a lot of personality conflicts and dissensions, and I don't think they're having a difficult time getting it all sorted out. If I'm the Knicks, though, this is a pretty good time to run into the Spurs, I think. I think the Spurs played very well. They did a lot of good things against the Trailblazers, but the Trailblazers played very poorly. You know, we'll see, you know, whether the Knicks can take advantage of them tonight.
All right, Spurs and the Knicks. Stay tuned. More Spurs Center right after this commercial pause. Stay with us.
Why do women always know when you're not telling them the whole story? And why do they always change plans at the last minute? And why do we keep putting up with them?
Why ask why? Try Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So while women may remain a mystery, refreshment won't.
Call me irresponsible.
Just because the other guy is on the road doesn't mean his mind is. So the superb traction of the Subaru Legacy with four-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes can be quite a comfort. Since the next guy is capable of almost anything, shouldn't the same be true of your next car?
Experience the Subaru Legacy excitement by test driving a Legacy at these locations.
If Delaney makes this putt, a 20-footer that should break to the right, he'll be up to 5.
More pepper taste. 3 diets.
It'll make you, shake you, take you to the moon. Brand new Diet Dr. Pepper. It really tastes great. It'll shock you, knock you to your knees. Once it starts, it never quits. There's no stopping the taste.
New Diet Dr. Pepper with 100% NutraSweet.
Wear your paper.
I understand you've been an avid San Antonio Light reader since 1959.
June of 59, 40 years ago.
Whoa, 40 years reading the San Antonio Light. Do you read the San Antonio Light newspaper?
Since 1905.
40 years. One more reason why we're your paper for a long time.
You better believe it. You better believe it.
Thanks.
You're my paper for a long time.
Wear your paper. The San Antonio Light.
And welcome back to the Spurs Center. Cordell Patrick with you. The first regular season meeting between the Knicks and the Spurs since the Rod Strickland-Maurice Cheeks trade. What will the Spurs have to do to win tonight?
Well, I think it's always a case on the road of good team defense. I mean, play that position defense, make them beat you from the outside.
You got to, Ewing's going to get some points. You got to keep the Oakleys and all these guys from beating you. And I think you got to take advantage on offense of the guys that just can't play defense, like Kiki Vanderway. And there's guys on the Knicks team that are extremely weak on defense, and you've got to pinpoint those guys and just nail them.
All right, it's the Spurs and the Knicks. Let's take you out to the Garden. Dave Barnett and Greg Simmons.
Well, this is supposed to be near a sold-out house. It's amazing that it is not a sold-out house. Connie Chung's here. Maury Povich is here. Wilt is here. And about 17,000 other Ewing Robinson onlookers tonight. Our Nike matchups. In the front court, off maybe the best 2 games he's played all year, Sean Elliott and Sidney Green, a homecoming for the Brooklyn native. Kiki Vanderway, Charles Oakley, the forwards for the Knicks. Of course, Robinson and Ewing in the middle. Pressey and Anderson against the backcourt of Cheeks and Wilkins. And Mark Jackson in his second game after a 2-game suspension, which cost him about $43 grand.
Suspended basically for insubordination, but more or less criticizing head coach John McLeod and his lack of playing time.
And McLeod said he had had enough of Mark Jackson, but is pleased with his conduct since the return. Way back to Cheeks. Knicks control. About a year ago at this time, Cheeks became a Knick. In the trade, sending Rod Strickland, of course, to San Antonio. Ewing from the circle. In and out, and Pressey out rebounding Oakley. Pressey moving to the starting point guard slot. Late last week, good result so far. Slipping inside, Robinson 2-0.
A good feed from Sean Elliott, who penetrated down the baseline. He saw Robinson cutting to the inside. The defender came over to pick up Sean and left David wide open.
And the Spurs start Robinson on Oakley, Green on Ewing. Not a true head-to-head matchup when the Knicks have the ball. And that one kicked out of bounds, fresh 24. What? Ewing 6th in scoring, 5th in rebounding.
I think that's a good idea because it takes a little pressure off of David, at the same time allowing him a little quick feed.
Gerald Wilkins, who has been as hot as he's ever been as a Knick the last 3 games. Pressey motoring up, easily past Mo Cheeks. No transition defense for the Knicks, and it's 4-0. Pressey playing outstanding defense in the 2 games against Portland. The offense has been slipping a bit.
I think the key to beating New York is getting up early against them.
Vandeweghe misses a 3. Knicks not the 3-point bombers they were in the Rick Pitino era. They will still put it up. Green underneath, and the extra pass creates free throw opportunities for David Robinson. Good pass by Green to spot the open Admiral.
Did your heart stop in the game against Portland when David went to the line and missed the first one of a 1-and-1, or actually 2 shots, and then hit the second, and that was a shot that put it over for David and the Spurs in overtime?
Mine had stopped way before that. And they got started again when Buck Williams missed at the end of regulation. David 8th in scoring, 1st in rebounding, 1st in blocks, 10th in field goal percentage. So if you break it down statistically, only a half point behind Ewing in scoring, and he is better than Ewing in the other aspects of play, and it's 5-0 Spurs.
But if you wanted a guy at the line in that particular game, it should have been Buck Williams, right?
As it turned out. Ewing misses the turnaround. Spurs dominant on the glass, and Willie Anderson got poked in the eye. Asking Jimmy Clark why he didn't see it. Green driving on Ewing for the slam. Sidney Green returning home. 7-0.
The Knicks are just standing still on defense, allowing the Spurs easy moves to the basket.
And John McLeod up for a 22nd timeout. This is obviously not the same Knicks team that has ripped off 3 straight wins. It is the same Spurs team that's been so sharp the last 2 games.
Well, you notice how they're moving the ball again, and they're leaving the baseline wide open. Look, Sidney Green fakes a move. He gets Ewing to commit, and then he just blows by him down the baseline. You notice Wilkins was leaning too far out. He didn't come over to help when Green made the move. They were looking for the pass that time, and that's what a good passing game will get you. Everybody's looking for the pass and not worried about the drive.
Well, this is a homecoming also for Larry Brown, like Sidney, a native of Brooklyn. Gets up for coaching in this building as much as anywhere he coaches. Spurs 3 for 3 and on top 7-0. Gerald Wilkins has not been the early focal point. The hot man over the last 3 games goes baseline, double teamed by Pressey. They knock it out with only 4 on the shot clock.
Good move, because Willie Anderson will cut him off with the baseline and wait for defensive help. That time it came in the shape of Paul Pressey.
Vandeweghe in. Wilkins got Elliott off his feet with 1 on the shot clock. He's short. And again, the Spurs get the board. Knicks have missed 5 straight shots. Anderson, a 3-pointer off the hand of Elliott. He'll chase it down. Anderson in deep. Cutter, Sidney Green, 9-0.
Oh, look at the penetration by the Spurs. 3 or 4 guys are being able to get into the paint there. Nobody for the Knicks is even anywhere close to playing defense.
Well, John McLeod with a full timeout. 9:22 of the first quarter, and the boos already sounding in New York.
NBA Hoops cards. These cards have my full support.
Great source of basketball information.
Action photos, career stats, height, weight.
Irvin Magic Jackson. He's famous.
Where they were born.
Collect them all.
NBA Hoops cards. Great pictures.
Cool stats.
No gum.
No gum.
No gum.
As a group, I would say they probably have some of the best teeth I've ever seen. You can spit now.
Real Texas value is standard with Ford Tempo. Now at your Texas Ford dealer, a Tempo GL is sticker priced at $11,534. It comes with air conditioning, automatic transmission, dual remote control mirrors, tilt steering, AM/FM stereo cassette, power locks, polycast wheels, interval wipers, and more. All this on one of America's best-selling family sedans. That's value Texas style.
Texas Ford and you.
Diamond Shamrock,
You're to the corner store. When you run out, run in.
Be sure to stop by any one of your 7 Gun automotive dealers and register your son or daughter for the Top Gun basketball clinic featuring Sean Elliott and Spurs coaches. Each winner gets to participate in the clinic, plus receive a Top Gun poster courtesy of the Gun family of automotive dealers. No purchase necessary to win. 9-0 Spurs, 6-0 on the glass is the key. Knicks 0 for 5, Spurs 4 for 5. And they work to Ewing. Underneath, intended for Vandeweghe. And the Knicks, immediately after their second timeout, turn it over.
And the Spurs are putting bodies on people. You like to see that. They're playing a physical game inside.
This should be a big matchup for Sean Elliott, who makes it 5 of 6 shooting. Elliott matched with Kiki Vandeweghe.
Yeah, who's really come on strong here. He's had 20-plus points in 6 of their last 9 games.
But has never been mistaken for a defender.
No.
And Elliott has scored well the last 3 games, really. Here's Wilkins slashing past Willie Anderson. Robinson reached over, got some ball and maybe some wrist as well, although Anderson is volunteering for the foul. It is on David, first against the team.
But did you see how many people were clogging the lane there on defense? The Spurs were ready for any penetrating move, and they forced his shot way to the outside.
Well, that was the key against Portland. They forced Portland to hit from outside, which they really didn't do until late in the second half of the second game.
Can you believe they held Portland to just 27 points in the first half? That's near an all-time low.
1 of 2 for Wilkins, knocked over to Pressey. 11-1, San Antonio. Robinson underneath. Again, the extra pass, finding a Spur underneath the bucket. It was Elliott this time. And they call over the back contact on Vandeweghe, team second.
Elliott's got the big speed advantage over Kiki Vandeweghe, of course.
Avery Johnson, first Spur sub in to replace Pressey. Rather than Pressey, Anderson, and Pressey will inbound. Avery against Mo Cheeks. Robinson double team. Oakley slipped over and got in the way of the pass intended for Green. Oakley having a big rebounding year, 3rd in the NBA. Elliott again can work on Vandeweghe. Goes right past him. Now up high. Robinson, 13-1. David with 5. Ewing yet to score. Oakley to screen for Cheeks. And Mo Cheeks rebounded by Robinson. Knicks have gone 4 minutes without a field goal. Spurs by 12, looking for more. Pressey. Good adjustment as he saw Ewing come at him. He went to the rainbow arc, and it is 15-1.
Ewing was coming out to meet him. He got a 7-foot body coming at you. What do? You arc it over the top of him and found nothing but net.
And John McLeod, without much choice but to use his 3rd timeout. 7:43 still to go in the first quarter.
You know, when people ask me for my secret to great chicken, I say, hey, it took me 7 years to perfect this sauce. It took me 10 years to master this fire building technique. And to find the absolutely freshest, perfect chicken, it took me a minute, maybe 2, over at H-E-B.
H-E-B brand chicken, the freshest chicken in these parts.
F-R-E-S-H-E-B. Now there's a great new pizza with all the pepperoni you want and more. Yeah, pepperoni! It's the new Pizza Hut Pepperoni Supreme. With tons of pepperoni to keep you satisfied. Plus all the mushrooms, onions, and green peppers to make it supreme. And now for limited time, get a medium pepperoni supreme for only $6.99. It's the new pan pizza you've always wanted. And now it's all yours. Pizza Hut, making it great.
Why do fools fall in love? Why do opposites attract? Why do gentlemen prefer blondes? Why do women have all the answers? Why Ask why.
Try the dry.
Cold filtered for smooth draft taste. Dry brewed for no aftertaste. Because if true love's not the answer, true refreshment must be.
Well, the Spurs and 76ers can be seen exclusively 7:30 March 5th on Paragon Cable's First Choice, Channel 98, called 222-0500. The Sports Pub, Tiffany Billiards, Champions, and Fatso's also providing pay-per-view activity. The Spurs and 76ers. Ewing missed the hook, and the Knicks commit the loose ball foul. It's on Oakley, his first third against the team.
Watch this. Oakley's trying to clear out, but this is Sidney Green on defense against Patrick Ewing, and that's exactly what they want him to do. Put a body on Pat. Look how he pushes underneath to get him away from the basket. Good move by Sidney.
7 of 8, 0 for 7. And 15-1. As Robinson posts on Ewing, and they get an illegal defense warning against Mo Cheeks, a confused Mo Cheeks, who looked to be pretty close to Avery Johnson. Knicks ready to go to the bench and get Trent Tucker in at a backcourt spot, three-point specialist. And he'll also be joined by Brian Quinnett, a second-year backup forward from Washington State, replacing Wilkins and Vandeweghe. So Elliott goes to work on Quinnett. Robinson knocked away, got it back. And Sean lets fly from 21. 8 for 9 shooting. And it is 17-1.
He had 25 points, 9 of 14 shooting. He had a big three-pointer in that game. Also 6 of 6 from the line.
Knicks 0 for 7. Make it 0 for 8. And you look at this start, and it's not hard to figure why the Knicks are 12 and 17 on their home floor this year. Robinson, 10-footer, 19-1.
Spurs smell blood. They know they're struggling. They know they're down, and they want to put them down early in the Garden.
John McLeod, for the 4th time in less than 6 minutes of basketball, is called timeout. He's down to 4 full timeouts for the rest of the game, and he's used his 20 for this half.
He figures he has nothing to lose at this moment, because if they get down any further, the game's over anyway. He's got no one out there who's hitting the outside jumper. He's got no one out there playing defense. He has no help right now, so he's going to clear him out, I bet, and try and put some people in there who want to play. Here's Robinson on the baseline, wide open. No one near him. Don't forget the Spurs Hoops card. Presented by Sprite, Minute Maid, Orange Soda, Church's Chicken, and the San Antonio Light. Now available, special collector's set of authentic NBA hoop cards featuring 7 Spurs players, including David Robinson. You also received one of Spurs coach Larry Brown and the first ever Spurs Coyote card. Purchase specifically marked 12 packs of Sprite or Minute Maid Orange Soda at participating retailers. Move the trading card coupon found on these 12-pack containers and take it to any nearby participating Church's Chicken restaurant to receive your set of cards. This offer good only while the supply of trading cards lasts. Only 1 set of cards per visit. Also, look for details in the San Antonio Light's Total Sports. Now you can win a special autograph set of these special cards.
Well, it's been a game of streaks. 11-0 Spurs, 1-0 Knicks, 8-0 Spurs. 19-1. This has got to be a record for quickest 18-point lead ever opened up. 6:24 still remaining in the first quarter. There's such a thing as a perfect 6 minutes of basketball. David Robinson and the Spurs are in the midst of that right now.
It's almost as if they haven't recovered from the double overtime game against Washington. A lot of minutes played in that game, but you're just not seeing the effort tonight from the Knicks.
Well, and you touched on it earlier. It's hard to figure because the city gets somewhat excited for an appearance by an Olajuwon or a Robinson, or the people from the West they only see once a year here. Apparently the Knicks not joining New York basketball fans in that excitement yet. But we are early. Ewing. Finally the first field goal by a Knick. Mark it at 5 minutes, 45 seconds of basketball, and the Spurs turn it over at the other end.
We have a rally going.
It's a game of streaks, like I said. This streak 2-0 Knicks. and 19-3 on the boards. We are halfway gone with the first quarter. Knicks around the perimeter. Now in to Gerard Mustaf, their first-round pick out of Maryland, turns it over.
Well, that time Sidney Green put a body on Mustaf, and that's what forced the turnover. And they switched Robinson over to get Ewing.
Elliott against Quinnett, second rounder a year ago out of Washington State. Robinson over Ewing, and Quinnett clears, and they almost turned that one over. First rebound by a Knick tonight. Hit it out for Quinnett, knocked out to Tucker. Fakes the three, his specialty. He is tied for first in the NBA, in fact, in three-point percentage. Open underneath, Mo Cheeks.
Avery Johnson committed on the double team against Patrick Ewing and left Mo Cheeks all alone in the lane.
Spurs' plan tonight is to double on Ewing if he's in the low post. If he floats, they'll let him float and take their chances with his outside shooting. Larry Brown with a timeout. Why not? You've seen 4 straight points against your team. You got to put a stop to that. And with 5:08 in the first quarter, the Spurs lead is down from 18 to 14.
Spurs not concentrating on defense that time. You're right. They want to double up on Ewing as much as possible because he likes to put the ball on the floor, reach in for the steal perhaps. But that time Avery committed, left Mo Cheeks all alone cutting through the lane, and it resulted in a quick 2.
Well, for the second consecutive year, the San Antonio Light is presenting the First City Texas Spurs Reunion Classic. Former Spurs greats such as George Gervin, Billy Paultz, Mark Olberding, George Johnson, and our own Kobe Dietrich. Just a few of the players. Paul Griffin, perhaps.
Yes.
They will be participating in a special exhibition during halftime of the Spurs Supersonics game on Saturday, March 9th. There will also be a special three-point shooting contest held before the game involving the players. To commemorate this occasion, First City, Texas has produced the special collector's edition, a poster depicting many of the great players who have worn the silver and black down through the years. 15,000 of these posters will be given away to fans attending the Spurs Sonics game. Also look for the special First City, Texas Spurs Reunion Classic player profiles appearing in the San Antonio Light. This special event co-sponsored by the Spurs official airline, Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows.
Now we'll get to see some scoring from everyone else if Skeeter Swift will give up the ball at least once.
And always a big if. That alone is reason enough to come out and watch. 19-5 San Antonio. 9-2 on the glass. A limp effort by the Knicks in all aspects in the first 6+ minutes. And Larry Brown, flanked by R.C. Buford on the left, Greg Popovich on the right. No doubt did not expect this easy a first period. But you think back to the 27-point first quarter by Portland on Tuesday night. Not all that shocking, I guess, that the defense has been at that level again tonight. Avery Johnson's miss, rebounded by Tucker. Knicks not a bad rebounding team, despite what you've seen so far tonight.
Well, they shouldn't be when you got guys like Oakley and Ewing.
23 a game just between those two, more than half the team total. 5 on the shot clock. Tucker turns it over to Pressey. Pressey all the way up to Johnson. Now Green. The outside shot won't fall for Sid. And stealing the rebound from Mustaf is Elliott. Green off the spin. And off the backboard, off the rim and down. He's got 6. It's 21-5.
Well, we saw the moves by Paul Pressey up in Portland. His strong defense that came up with some key steals. And that time we saw Sean Elliott going in for the rebound again, using his upper body strength that he didn't have last season.
Clear out. Ewing settles for the outside shot. R.C. Buford telling us before the game that what the Knicks are calling a motion offense really isn't by true standards, by Larry Brown or Doug Moe standards. It's not really what they consider the passing game. Some differences in the way the Spurs run it. Traveling on David Robinson, a hard time getting the handle on that pass.
Yeah, that time Sidney tried to feed David. He was double teamed immediately and just blocked out on the baseline.
Terry Cummings, first appearance of the night. DC in his 4th game since returning after the broken hand, and back in Willie Anderson. Pressey take a break. Here's Mustaf from 15, nails it. Mustaf, the 17th pick in the draft last year. After just 2 years at Maryland, here's a steal by the all-time leader, Cheeks, over to Tucker, 20-footer.
If there's any way to start a run, is through defense, and Mo Cheeks is the best at it when it comes to thefts.
2,144 in his career. No one has had more ever in the NBA. This run for the Knicks, 10-2 to get them within 10. And Robinson with a left-hand hook misfires. Ewing with his first rebound of the night. Tucker with his first 3 of the night. Tucker 43% from three-point range.
Well, they're collapsing on David inside, and that triggered that run.
Well, they have made 5 straight after they couldn't hit anything in the first 7 minutes. Suddenly, it's just a 7-point game. 5 on the shot clock. Fans wanted to travel on Sean Elliott, and instead they get a foul against Mustaf for New York, their 4th as a team. Mustaf has picked up his level of play since he survived the trading deadline here. Obviously relieved that he didn't go as rumored to John McLeod's old team, the Dallas Mavericks. Herb Williams rumored to be in that mix from Dallas, but it never happened.
Much like the Spurs, Sidney Green.
Avery in deep, good look, and Willie gets his first 2.
Now they're back to what they were doing earlier in this period, penetrating on the offense.
And Robinson timing his sneak-up move from behind Ewing. 2:03 in the first. Spurs were up 18. Knicks cut it to 7. It's now 9, 23-14. And Anderson flicking it away from Tucker. Spurs contesting just about everything, unlike New York.
Press. That's the key against the Knicks. Press with your defense.
2 minutes.
Here's Ewing, tangled up, stolen away. Willie flicked it over to Robinson. Johnson leading the 4-on-2, and Elliott for the finish.
Oh, what a look-off pass by little Avery Johnson. He first got Tucker to bite on defense down court, and then the no-look pass to Sean for the slam.
Lead back to double figures. Boynette, who has replaced Kenny Walker in the Knicks rotation. Walker has not played at all the last 4 games. Ewing comes up way short and taken away underneath by a hustling Terry Cummings. Anderson to Johnson. Avery with the scoop.
Well, that's incredible. Terry Cummings fighting for the ball with an injured left hand. He's on the ground looking for the ball. There's one thing you don't want to do is injure that hand, but that just shows you the guts and determination he has going for him.
Oh, it's pretty incredible. The 5'10 Johnson beats the 7'1 Ewing. Around and in. Mo Cheeks with 4. 1 minute in the first quarter. 27-16. Johnson draws the double team, looks for Robinson, and instead around it goes to Cummings from 18, and it out Mustaf with a board. Very shot yet to return, only 34% his first 3 games back. Cheeks a long 2. Too long. Rebounded by Ewing. 30 seconds. Back over to Cheeks. Elliott picks him up in a bit of a mismatch, and Cheeks splits the double team to Ewing. Anderson and Robinson do the job. 3-on-1 Johnson. Look off behind the back to TC, and he's fouled by Mustaf. Wow.
What an offensive run and what a defensive stand. Incredible move on the tag team between Robinson and Anderson on one end. Here it comes on the block. Watch Anderson from behind and Robinson from in front. And that keys the break. And watch Avery Johnson. It waits at the last second and watches behind the back dish to Cummings, who is fouled from behind. Here's another angle of the block. Let's take a look at this from behind. Let's see who gets the biggest piece of this ball. It looks like Robinson gets most of it from the front, but he gets a lot of help from behind by Willie Anderson.
Cummings misses the first free throw. Vandeweghe back in. Mustaf will depart. Pressey back in for the Spurs, replacing Elliott. And with 15 seconds in the first quarter, 1 of 2 for Cummings. He gets on the board. And it's the Spurs by 12. A high highlight-filmed first quarter all the way around for San Antonio. Spurs double the ball. Oakley back in. 4 seconds. Long two. In and out for Tucker. Knocked out to Quinnett, but no more time. And after taking a 19-1 lead out of the gate, the Spurs settled for a 28-16 margin at the end of one. And we'll return with more Spurs basketball after this word from Diamond Shamrock.
Look, the Albanian hedgehog. Value $6 million. Less than 5 in North America. Ah, Diamond Shamrock's frequent fill-up discount stamp. With valuable discounts on gas and groceries at participating Diamond Shamrocks. The Earl of Sandwich. Value $8 million. Tasty?
Call me irresponsible.
Just because the other guy is on the road doesn't mean his mind is. So the superb traction of the Subaru Legacy with 4-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes can be quite a comfort. Since the next guy is capable of almost anything, shouldn't the same be true of your next car?
Experience the Subaru Legacy excitement by test driving a Legacy at these locations.
And welcome back to the Spurs Center. Cordell Patrick with you. At the end of the first quarter, San Antonio with a 12-point budge over the New York Knicks, 28-16. The Spurs streaked out to a 19-1 lead over the Knicks, thanks largely in part to Sidney Green. 6 points in the first period. Sidney Green is the Diamond Shamrock Spur of the moment. Budweiser scoreboard coming your way. A couple of games in the NBA underway. Detroit and Miami, 17-14. Detroit has lost 3 games in a row. That's in the first period. Also, Milwaukee and New Jersey. That's the first quarter score. Milwaukee leading New Jersey 24-12. Now let's take you back out to the Garden in New York City, the Big Apple. Spurs and the Knicks. Greg Simmons and Dave Barnett.
Cordell, 28-16. San Antonio at the end of one. It was 19-1 before Patrick Ewing got the Knicks their first field goal about halfway into the first quarter. A desperate, disgusted John McLeod called 4 timeouts, and that's got to be an NBA record for a first quarter.
Well, he had nothing to lose. He figured if he didn't get something going soon, the game would be over with before the first period had even ended.
You saw the inside dominance. Spurs showed good balance. Robinson had 7. Elliott and Green each had 6. Ewing and Cheeks with 4, 1 behind Tucker, the Knicks scoring leaders. And the Spurs take it to open quarter number 2. Spurs playing some outstanding first quarter defense lately. They gave the Clippers 20, Portland out there 20, Portland at home 15, and the Knicks 16.
And Vandeweghe hasn't scored a basket yet. This is a guy coming off at 20-plus games and 6 out of the last 9.
Neither has Wilkins. Oakley is scoreless. Pressey with a left-hand runner, rebounded by Tucker. If the Knicks are to rally, it needs to begin on the glass, where they were absolutely shredded. Vandeweghe in traffic. Loose ball rolls off Green, picked up by Anderson. Spurs also getting all the loose balls so far. Pressey all alone. Nobody popping out on the shooters.
Out of soul. You know what? Sidney Green, they ought to threaten to trade everybody at least once a year. It's incredible. He is a defensive monster in the last 3 games.
Larry Brown told him in Portland it's a put-up or shut-up start. And he has
put up.
Really responded. He has put up. Nice spin and a 3-point opportunity for Trent Tucker, the veteran out of Minnesota. The elder Nick in his 9th year here.
Now, this is a guy who can put up the buzzer beater just about every time. But look at the spin move to open himself up on the baseline and arches it in. And he gets Paul Pressey to come over for the foul.
That's only the 2nd San Antonio foul. Eddie Lee Wilkins, little used lately, not at all in their last 2 games. 7 of their last 10 he has not gotten off the bench. This is a real rarity, a free throw by a guy who lives outside. That's only the 17th free throw he has attempted all year, and the 11th he's made. He is almost legendary for not going in deep. Johnson turns it over to Tucker.
Boy, Eddie Lee Wilkins put an elbow into Avery Johnson.
Also off the bench for the Knicks, John Starks, former Oklahoma State guard, turns, fires, and hits. Starks has been everywhere. Free agent last October after being a CBA All-Star with the Warriors years ago. He played at 4 different colleges in 4 years. Only 1 year of high school ball and finished up at Oklahoma State. Cummings in the low post, side of the glass against Oakley, and it's Tucker in a foot race. Pressey back waiting. Off balance, forced miss by Tucker. An awful shot. Hoping to get a whistle, which never came. Our next KSAT 12 Spurs telecast against the Golden State Warriors out west. Their first win of the year over Christmas. Anderson draws the double team. Avery Johnson comes up short. And the Knicks, strangely enough, since they took Ewing out, a much better rebounding team tonight. Long two-pointer, not nearly long enough by Starks.
Well, the last place you want to shoot an air ball is in front of this crowd.
Anderson, Pressey as Tucker gambles.
A loose ball foul. Green was battling Wilkins. They call Wilkins for the foul, and the chant goes up as Wilkins checks in for Tucker. We want Mark. That's got to be a strange sound to his ears. Most of the time, they don't want Mark. Robinson back in for the Spurs. Ewing will return for New York.
That suspension for Mark Jackson costing $43,000. It was 4 days off without pay. He missed 2 games in the process.
And he and his agent are tossing around the idea of protesting through the union, although supposedly less than a 5-day suspension you are not supposed to be able to file a grievance on. Outside shot makes it 32-21, and Elliott a perfect 4 for 4. Double teamed is Ewing underneath. Oakley with his first 2. Oakley off a couple of big scoring games himself. Robinson in deep with a left-hand runner against Ewing. He has outscored him 9-4.
Boy, that just shows Davis' quickness because he's able to snake around Ewing while everybody's calling for palming the ball on Pressey. He takes advantage of it.
We are working on the audio problems. We apologize for them and hope to get them corrected as soon as we can. Ewing no good. Controlled transition by Pressey. Green off the spin off the rim to Ewing. And Starks leading the charge to Oakley. Comes up short, but he got fouled. Oakley, the veteran rebounding specialist out of Virginia Union. Career 11 rebound average. One of the best in the last 6 years. Cummings back in, replacing Green. As Oakley will step up for 2. Oakley without a rebound in this game. He averages 12, third in the league. Over the last 8 games, he averages 14. He has not shown up yet tonight.
He's got the body built for banging the boards, doesn't he?
Classic power forward, 6'9", 245. This begins a 3-game Atlantic stretch for the Spurs. Are at Boston tomorrow night, at Washington Sunday afternoon. Return home late Sunday night. And what a start they've given themselves tonight, 34-25. Looking for their 3rd consecutive win. They led Utah by 6 percentage points beginning play tonight. Ewing backing way off the Admiral. Starks against Paul Pressey. Open for the long 2, Willie. It's an incredible knack he has had throughout his career to know exactly where the line is and put a toe on it.
And make sure toes standing on it. He even looked down. He even looked down when he got the ball.
He's making sure his toes on the line. He has made 6 3-pointers this year. Vandeweghe rebounded by Wilkins.
I guarantee he's made 20 with a toe on the line. Ewing over to Wilkins. He checks, takes the 2, the high arc ball. First field goal for the man who had been their big offensive spark in their 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, and coming off his season high, too.
Well, the second half score, he says his big advantage over everybody else he plays is conditioning. Wears him down, then takes him to school in the second half. Cummings
on the low post for his first field goal.
Boy, if you could mark the shots the Spurs have made tonight, they've gotten to be all within 5 or 6 feet for the most part.
John McLeod burns his 4th full timeout. He'll play the rest of the way with 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to take this moment to wish a
You'd only need one key to open both entry lock and deadbolt if you had the Schlage security lock set combination. And now the set's at one low price. Builder Square, the warehouse with everything for your house. The Stanley 1/2 horsepower heavy-duty garage door opener. It's easy to install. It's even easier to use. Builder Square, the warehouse with everything for your house.
Are you ready for beef so tender it melts in your mouth? Beef sizzling with flavor, dripping with juiciness. Well, you're ready for USDA Choice Steakhouse beef from H-E-B. Come on, you can just taste it. Now, what are you waiting for? Come and get it at H-E-B.
Get ready for real Texas value on Ford Taurus. Now at your Texas Ford dealer at Taurus L Plus is sticker priced at $14,567. It comes standard with driver's side airbag, dual electric remote control mirrors, tilt steering, AM/FM stereo. Plus, you get air conditioning, power locks, and more. All this on the design-leading Ford Taurus. That's value Texas style.
Texas Ford and you.
Our 4-game reset, 62% shooting. The Knicks at 39%. Spurs over the game with a 19-1 run. Maybe that's the problem. The Mavericks showed up. The Knicks were scheduled. Ewing only 2 of 9. 4 points, 3 rebounds, and it is 38-27 San Antonio.
We knew there had to be a reason for this start.
6:58 in the first half. Dreamland for Larry Brown. This has been incredibly easy. Basketball, of course, a game of runs, especially at the NBA level. This game, anything but over. Knicks, in fact, quickly got within 7 after they were down by 18 in the first quarter. And Gerald Wilkins, quite capable of leading a run by himself. He's got 5 points and they're back within 9.
Yeah, he's the guy that helped put that game in at overtime against the Bullets with a 3-pointer with 31 seconds left.
Pressey underneath to Robinson. Fall away, blocked by Ewing. First time that Ewing has really dealt defensively on the Admiral. Vandeweghe, the quick first step. Robinson with a block at the other end. Oakley takes it away and gets 2 plus 1. Robinson's second foul.
And here's how it happens. Watch Vandeweghe get the step on Sean to go to the opposite side. Now it's Oakley that comes in and takes the loose ball away. They battle for it, and then Oakley is fouled after David puts a body on him, plus the basket.
About time. First rebound tonight by Oakley. Just Saturday, he had his Knick high 20 rebounds. Cummings against Oakley, drops off. And up and over. That is the scouting report now with Terry in such a slump since his return. Let him shoot from outside because they're just not dropping.
Well, what they're doing is they're dropping off of Terry, and then it enables him to clog up the middle with David.
Terry 8 for 26 in the Portland games. 34% if you include the Clipper game when he made his return. And Robinson with a steal of a terrible pass by Starks. Cummings this time In deep, outside, open shot, falls for Willie Anderson.
Well, the guy they don't want to leave open tonight is Sean Elliott.
Willie 3 of 4, Elliott 4 of 4. With the hot hands for the Spurs. Vandeweghe, rebound Robinson. Vandeweghe still scoreless. And all alone this time, Pressey. Wilkins ahead to Vandeweghe. He'll challenge Robinson and wish he didn't. A late whistle by Hugh Evans, and that would be 3 on David, and it is.
That's unfortunate because he went under David here, and see if he gets off the rebound. Here comes Robinson, who was already hanging back. Watch him drop over to pick up Vandeweghe, and here's where the foul's called. Now Robinson has a good point there. Kiki Vandeweghe moves an elbow out to clear out space for himself, and Robinson said, no, that should have been an offensive foul, and he's got a good point. And the late whistle by Hugh Evans has to indicate that he was thinking about that.
So Green replaces Robinson. Vandeweghe, 8th in the NBA at 90% from the foul line. That's his 23rd in a row. There's the streak he's been on. Of course, a chronic back injury clearing up for him this year. This is the most games and minutes he's played in the last 4 years, and this is only the end of February.
Yeah, considering what Kiki's been through, you're right. This is about the healthiest he's been in a long time. Good to see him back.
Backward pressure by Starks. Knicks, for the second time after falling down by 18, have cut it to 7. And a reach-in foul as Elliott slashes across the lane. It's on Vandeweghe, his second, team second.
See, Vandeweghe, as you were talking about earlier, just having trouble with a quicker element is in Sean Elliott.
Well, he's 32. We've got 10 years on Sean. And as David Greenwood so aptly put it, his former UCLA teammate, he was never into D. Even on the team that Larry Brown took to the finals at UCLA. Never into D. There's Gerald Wilkins. Knicks within 5. We told you a streak quite likely as early as the Spurs got their big advantage, and sure enough, here it is.
Wilkins took off from the free throw line.
Of course, the younger brother of Dominique. It runs in the genes. Anderson nicely driven. Then the block by Ewing, and here comes Wilkins 4-on-2. Oakley deflected off the glass. Ewing. Knicks within 3. And Larry Brown up for a timeout. The game really turned after David Robinson's third foul. Ewing has taken off, and the Knicks are right back in it.
The voices that reach you, the hands you can hold, the hope when you're young and the help when you're old, the worldly ideas with hometown direction, yeah, you've got it made 'cause you've got connections.
At Southwestern Bell, our everyday life is bringing people together in their everyday life.
With Southwestern Bell, you've got great connections.
Call me irresponsible.
Just because the other guy is on the road doesn't mean his mind is. So the superb traction of the Subaru Legacy with four-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes can be quite a comfort. Since the next guy is capable of almost anything, shouldn't the same be true of your next car?
Experience the Subaru Legacy excitement by test driving a Legacy at these locations.
Warning, cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact, independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
This half of Spurs basketball is brought to you by Budweiser, who reminds you to know when to say when. A friendly reminder from your friends at Anheuser-Busch.
our next pay-per-view broadcast will be against the Seattle Supersonics, and the Spurs host Sean Kemp and his teammates. It also happens to be the night of the Reunion Classic on March the 9th.
Knicks on a 10-2 run within 3. 40-37, 4-minute mark of the half. Green underneath. Great cut by Cummings. He's hammered and will shoot two. Sidney Green spotted a wide open TC.
What's interesting is Terry chose to go to the opposite side of the basket that time instead of taking it directly in, and perhaps if he hadn't made that delay, that little delay move to go to the opposite side, he would have gotten the basket plus the foul.
A couple of great games for Terry against the Knicks last year. Knicks won here, lost at Hemisphere. And the numbers since his return are shaded somewhat because he's not playing starters minutes, really. And as we said, still looking for a shot.
If you look at this series in review, it's been a home-and-home series, basically. They split the last 6 years, in fact.
Van de Wey, first field goal, 4th point. It's a 2-point Spurs lead. And in pain at midcourt is Terry Cummings.
And the worst part about it, Dave, is he fell on his left hand. That's the first thing he did when he slipped and fell. He grabbed his left hand. He says he's shaking it off, but immediately John Anderson is out to take a look at that. That hand is taped up. That's the hand he broke the bone in trying to reach in on Olin Colonies when the Spurs were playing host to the Seattle Supersonics back on January the 28th. It broke the bone in his left hand, a fracture. He had to wear a cast. He took the cast off. He's been back now and playing with a bandaged left hand. Now, he's got a pad in there that's going to help him protect it. But it was a scary moment when he went down. That's the first thing he reached out and grabbed.
He's had a couple of scares. First game back against the Clippers, he got involved in a scramble, almost like a rugby scrum. He came out of that, I think, a little bit scared, but unscathed. And apparently the same thing happens here as he stays in. Spurs almost couldn't miss in the first quarter. They have fallen cold, and it's the Knicks who have cranked up their running game, shooting well here in the second period. Green. Line drive way off the front of the iron, and the Knicks with a chance to tie it. Van de Wey, 41 all. It was 19-1 San Antonio. 40-22 New York since then. It took 4 timeouts by John McLeod to finally get a combination out there he likes. And it also took the 3rd foul against David Robinson. This is where the Spurs need Cummings' offense. They won't fall for him, but a good offensive rebound by Green. Now Anderson. Elliott was open. He has still not missed. 5 of 5 from the field.
Boy, thank goodness for Sean in this case. The Spurs don't get back.
Ewing and a foul. Sidney Green upset. Ewing beat him back. And it's the first foul on Sidney.
Well, the Spurs just got sleeping on this. Look at the up-court pass here by John Starks to Ewing, who's all alone. And from behind, Sidney Green with the foul. Here's another look. Cummings tries to come into the picture, too, to help out. Too little, too late.
And 9 for Patrick Ewing. 5 have come since Robinson had to leave. The first New York lead of the night. And that start by the Spurs seems a very distant memory. Cummings lays it in and a foul. Got a very friendly carom off the backboard that time.
Yeah, right to him. Watch the bullet pass inside here, and Cummings gets a little help here. Here's Green trying to look for the pass. He gets it. It comes off of Cummings' hands, off the backboard, back to TC. He goes up, and he's fouled in the process.
It's on Starks, his second, 4th against the team. And with the 3-point play, the Spurs go back up by 2, near the 2-minute mark in the first half. Knicks, who were so inept in the first quarter, have now made their last 5 field goals. For the game, they're all the way up to 49%. Spurs 54% for the game. Wilkins against Elliott. Ewing knocked away by Green. And Avery Johnson with a loose ball. That shot clock was inadvertent, and they called traveling on Terry Cummings. They never reset the shot clock after the Spurs got the ball. You may have heard the buzzer. And I don't know if that threw the Spurs off to hear that buzzer, but they call the traveling, and they give it right back to New York.
Yeah, Avery, I think, was thinking about giving the ball back, and then at the last second travels in the process. And I think that's what Sidney is asking about.
Sidney had nicked 2 years, 87 through 89. 2 pretty good years for the Knicks. Look at their records, though, and it's really surprising that in the entire Ewing era, only 1 division championship. That being 2 years ago. The drive by Vandeweghe. And the foul is on Sean Elliott. His first puts the Spurs over the limit with 1:36 to play.
Well, I think one reason why the Knicks have been able to get back in this game, obviously with David Robinson out, they're able to put a little bit more muscle, a little bit more power, but everybody is putting the body on everyone now. They're playing a much more physical game, and with David on the bench, they're able to do that inside.
Vandeweghe coming alive, 7 points all here in the second quarter. In his career, he is the 6th best free throw shooter in NBA history. File that away if it comes down to a whom to foul situation late. Mustaf back in. Green taking a shot that I don't think Brown wants him to pull the trigger on. 18 feet out.
He wants him to pass the ball. And there was no one in the lane, though, to pass to, unfortunately.
He doesn't mind if he gets shots off things like offensive rebounds and posting up. But as a focal point of a half-court game, no. Alley-oop to Wilkins. Knicks by 2. What a fine feed by John Starks that time. 1 minute and a half. Cummings past Mustaf. That's goaltended by Ewing.
Ball on the way down. Cummings is driving in. Watch the arc of the ball coming down as Ewing comes over for the block. It's on its way down on the rejection.
Well, he picks his spots, though. Remember his first couple of years at Georgetown, anything that went up, he'd goaltend. 48 all, 47 seconds.
But it still makes you think about putting the shot up. It's an intimidation factor, if nothing else, too.
Ewing with a quick turnaround. Mustaf crashing the boards. But a loose ball foul is the price, and that's his third, 5th against the Knicks. In the East, the Knicks only 3 games ahead of Washington, which makes their sweep of the Bullets the last couple of games so important. And only 1 back of Indiana. Not a sure thing at all with even Cleveland lurking in the rear end of that Eastern Conference playoff picture.
Who would have thought the Knicks would be fighting for a playoff spot?
Well, not the Knicks fans. Guarantee you that. They expected much more. And really, I guess everybody around the league guilty of overrating this Knicks team from the get-go. Mark Jackson continues to sit. McLeod and the rest of the Knicks showing that they don't need Mark Jackson to play well the last 3 games. And an object lesson continues to be driven home to him. 30-second mark. Quarter number 2. Starks against Johnson. Anderson knocking it away from Gerald Wilkins. They were both almost prone when that ball came in.
It's amazing the battle going on between Wilkins and Anderson. And then you have Ewing trying to put a body on Sidney Green. It's just a physical game.
Spurs have had to bide their time over the last 5.5 minutes or so since Robinson's 3rd foul. Lost their lead a couple of times. They have it here by 2. 8 to shoot, 21.5. They double Ewing. Cross court, Wilkins. And tapped up and in by Ewing. That wasn't supposed to be an alley-oop, but it worked like one. And we're tied at 50.
And Shaw was right up there with him.
Avery Johnson, 2 seconds, 1 second. In time, not enough. And after a 19-1 start by the Spurs, they find themselves back at square one at halftime, 50-50 here at the Garden in New York.
The Mona Lisa.
All right, Cordell, 50-50, not what the Spurs had in mind when it was, about 19-1, but the Knicks, after the third foul by David Robinson with about 5.5 minutes still to go in the second quarter, took off. They took that as their cue to finally start playing ball.
Yeah, they used Gerald Wilkins, who scored 8 points in the second quarter, all of his field goals in that second period, and Kiki Vandeweghe, who scores all of his 8 points in the second quarter as well. It just leaves the defense a little lax inside and allows Ewing to roam wild.
Spurs were just about perfect out of the gate statistically. Here's where they end up. Not bad, 52%, Knicks 49%. Nick rebound edge was the big key because they weren't even contesting rebounds in the first few minutes of this game. 17-15 in the running game in the Spurs' favor. Not many turnovers either way. Among the early first half highlights for the Spurs, this work by Sidney Green.
Watch this, because Sidney gets Patrick Ewing to bite on the up fake here. Ewing comes out, he goes in, and that's a slam for Sidney. He's been playing great ball since the trade rumors, of course, erupted in San Antonio.
Sid with 6 points, 5 boards, which, along with Willie Anderson, leads the Spurs. David Robinson, a defensive highlight here against Ewing.
Yeah, here it is. Robinson against Ewing, and the rejection. Of course, later on, Ewing returned the favor. And right now, it's Ewing with 2 blocks for David's 1.
All right, now you explain this to me. They gave neither Willie Anderson nor David Robinson an official block on that play. They both had a piece of it. The only Spur credited with a block right now is Sean Elliott. You explain that to me. You're a lot smarter than I am.
Well, the only thing I tell you, they missed it. Doesn't take any brains to say we missed it.
I'll buy that. Ewing out rebounding David in the first half 8-2 and outscoring him 11-9. But again, the key was the 3 fouls, and Ewing had only 1.
And a big key for the Spurs in the first half was Sean Elliott, 5 of 5 from the field. He is hot.
Next up, Spurs basketball on KSAT 12 from Golden State. 9:30 March 14th against Chris Mullin and the Warriors. Spurs will point toward that one because they're 0-2 against the Warriors this year.
And that'll be a big West Coast road trip for the Spurs as well.
Pressey against Cheek, second half underway. 50-50 tie at Madison Square Garden. Robinson, double team, stripped by Cheeks, fouled. Knicks want a jump ball. Instead, it's the first foul on Mo Cheeks.
Well, they double up immediately on the Admiral, hoping to either draw a foul or, in this case, try and strip the ball away. Cheeks comes around and double up on him immediately. And this is something they didn't start off doing tonight.
Before they could double team him, he got the ball away, and around the horn, it's the first miss of the night by Sean Elliott. It was a 3-point attempt, and the Knicks will go for another lead. They led twice after fighting through the big early problems. Darcy Buford was right. This doesn't look at all like the Spurs version of a motion offense. Left-hand runner airball Vandeweghe, and a loose ball foul prior to Ewing's falling out of bounds. It's on Paul Pressey. Well, that hurts 2 ways. The shot clock was going to run down, and Ewing went out of bounds.
Did I actually hear him call out Seis y Ocho? Did I actually hear him say that? I believe it.
That was Jimmy Clark.
I believe.
If anyone would go bilingual on us, it would be Jimmy Clark.
Serious.
Jimmy, some unusual methods of communicating compared to most NBA officials. One of the few with a sense of humor during a game. Cheeks from 20. Knicks by 2. 53 weeks ago today, the deal sent Cheeks to New York. Strickland to San Antonio. Good, strong baseline drive by Elliott. He sets up the Admiral. He'll shoot 2. David disappointed. It's not a 3-point opportunity. Second foul on Ewing. This matchup really hasn't taken off. McLeod has Ewing on Robinson, but Brown from the start had Green on Ewing.
I think he's looking for Sidney to put a little bit more physical pressure on Ewing early.
I think the other thing he wanted was to keep David out of foul trouble, and it was a good idea that didn't work. 11 points, 2 boards for David. Tied again. Spurs haven't won here since November 13th of '87. 6-13 in the Garden all time. Wilkins, the running floater, rebound battle, knocked by Oakley off Robinson. Willie Anderson, a yeoman effort that time, almost taking it away from Oakley.
That's incredible. Look how thin Willie is, and he's up there battling for the board with Charles Oakley, the wide body of New York.
Ewing, double team a bit late by Pressey. Ewing with 13. Last year he was first team All-NBA center. Most people expect the Admiral to supplant him in that first team honor this year. Anderson cuts across the paint for 2. He's got 8.
Well, that works usually. They didn't get a body on the pick, but Willie still was able to get the ball and get it up quick enough before the defense collapsed on him.
Willie led the Spurs in their victory over New York at home last year with 26. There's Van de Wey going underneath. He's got double figures.
Almost the same play in reverse.
Seven straight 20-point years for Van de Wey until the back problems really nailed in the last couple of years here. Rounded out for Willie. Ewing way above the iron for the board. His 10th after a very slow start. Oakley underneath. Van de Wey with the left hand. Green snatches it down. He leads the Spurs with 6. They turn it over. I think as it turned out, the ease with which the Spurs started this game worked completely against them because they have not been that focused since it was 19-1. Wilkins over Robinson.
Yeah, and I tell you, the Knicks are getting a lot better ball movement to start the second half now. They're passing crisply, quickly.
This now their biggest lead, 4 points. Pressey. Ewing controls another one. Wilkins, time to aim, fire, and miss. Rebound Oakley behind the back off Van de Wey.
Look at Kiki. He's saying, I had it. That was too pretty to miss.
Spurs get a timeout. 8:26 in the third period. They trail 58-54.
When I was in school, I loved math. I loved playing with numbers. So I practiced and worked at it because I wanted to be an engineer. Today, no, I still use math. It's just a lot simpler.
Plans for tomorrow can change, which is why First Gibraltar San Antonio helps you plan for the future today. First Gibraltar San Antonio, for years to come.
There's a moment in time, maybe once in your life, when you feel that you're ready to fly.
Innovative aerodynamics, fuel-injected multi-valve engines, anti-lock braking systems, four-wheel independent suspensions. This is advanced automotive technology for the 90s. This is Pontiac excitement. Don't settle for less than the ride of your life. Get on the Pontiac Express. Visit your nearest South Texas Pontiac dealers now.
McDonald's Texas Home-Style Burger. Medium drink and medium fries, only $2.79. McDonald's Texas Home-Style Burger. Medium drink and medium fries at great value at only $2.79. New double McDonald's Texas Home-Style Burger. Double, made with a full half-pound 100% American beef. A bigger burger for big Texas appetites.
This half of Spurs basketball brought to you by Bud Dry. Why ask why? Try Bud Dry for refreshment that's beyond question. Dave Barnett and Greg Simmons at Madison Square Garden. Knicks fighting from 18 back to 4 up, their biggest lead of the game with 8:26 to go in the third quarter.
Well, the Knicks are doing what the Spurs did early in this game. They're just reversing it against the Spurs, basically beating them at their own game here in the start of the second half.
Larry Brown's had some constructive timeouts. Spurs have played well each timeout so far. We'll see if he has the same effect here. Spurs have yet to lose to an Atlantic team this year. 5-0 so far. This will be their first losing month of the Robinson era. Even a win tonight would finish off February 5-6. 3 to shoot. Anderson, leaping leaner, rebounded by Ewing, who had a talk with himself at halftime. He gets every board here in the third period. Cheeks against Anderson. Now Robinson on Ewing. Doubled by Willie. Crossover. 20-footer Cheeks. And Robinson knocks it out, but it ends up in the hands of Wilkins. And here's Ewing. He has just outplayed David here in the third quarter.
Well, Ewing was cocked and ready long before Wilkins ever got a hand on that ball, and he was ready for the dish. Robinson unable to get a measure of revenge and a loose ball foul on the Knicks. This will be Oakley's second, third against the team. Oakley with only 4 boards so far. Robinson with only 2. Ewing has a dozen. Pressey over a double team. Air ball, not close. And the Spurs this period have missed 5 in a row. They are 1 for 7 from the field. Well, they're getting away from their game plan where they were using the cutting inside, the slashing offense, the passing. 7-minute mark of the quarter. Baseline drive, Wilkins. That's the big difference. Until the fourth quarter of the second Portland game, nobody penetrated. First Portland game, first 3 quarters of the second Portland game. Now they are getting inside. They've got 8 unanswered points. Now the defense has become porous by the Spurs. One way to end a run. Elliott with 12. Elliott didn't want to miss anymore. Well, we'll see if it becomes contagious. He said once was enough. Oakley doubled. Ewing. Well, the Spurs quite obviously double-teamed the wrong man there. Yeah, they got David to bite on the double team. Ewing was again left wide open. They have their second 8-point lead. Six to shoot. Green, a good screen for the Admiral, who connects. 13 points for David. Spurs ready to get Cummings and Johnson in as Pressey knocks that one out of bounds. McLeod making some very effective substitutions since the first quarter. Now the Spurs bench needs to pull together and help out. Pressey and Green will get a rest. Cummings led the first half, 11 points. A lot of those coming at the free throw line. 3-point miss. Vandeweghe. Spurs can come within 4. And the Knick fans again say they want Mark. And Elliott will go to the line. Oakley came over, wanted to draw a charge. This foul is on Vandeweghe, his third, fourth against the team. What must go through his mind after he spent so many nights just being absolutely shredded by the boos, which in this place sound like boos nowhere else. There's so much more acidic. Rodney Dangerfield, this is a rough crowd. It's a rough crowd to play against. But they turn. I mean, they hate you, and then all of a sudden he leaves for a couple of games, and the suspension apparently bringing him some sympathy. They build you up to tear you down, I believe is what the song goes. Elliott with 13. Brown said he played his best game as a Spur. in outscoring Jerome Kersey 25-4 in that second Portland game. Sean said, Larry says that he gets excited. He says about every 4 or 5 games I play that aren't bad, he says that's the best Sean has ever played. But it might be. I think Larry might be correct this time. Ewing charges into Robinson. Offensive foul is his third, so they're even in personals.
Well, watch Robinson try and cut him off on the baseline here, and he lowers the shoulder. Now, Ewing will charge, and David was moving his feet, but David was set in position, and then Ewing lowers the shoulder into him.
So they can cut it to 2. 5-minute mark of the third. Robinson clear out. A little bit tentative, even though he wasn't double teamed that time. 5 to shoot. Elliott. 3 to shoot. Got a hoist to prayer, and it is an air ball. Shot clock violation.
Well, what they were trying to do is get Robinson on the cut. That's what Shaw was looking for, and they just had good defense against Shaw.
Well, but you see how the Knicks have picked it up a couple of notches with their defensive intensity. Only the 7th Spur turnover, though. Knicks don't force many. Ewing. Well defended that time. That's all the defense one man can play against Patrick Ewing. Elliott out-quicking Vandeweghe. Kiki with a nice recovery. Robinson plowing in against Patrick Ewing.
Robinson couldn't find anybody to pass to. He said, "Ah, the heck with this. I'm taking it in myself."
Well, now it's a duel. We took well into the third quarter, but they're starting to answer one another. Vandeweghe fouled. One thing he has always had is the quick first step, which is made up for a host of other physical you want to say weaknesses, but compared to the average NBA small forward, they are. That was Elliott's second foul, and the Knicks turn it over.
And finally, the Spurs are cutting off the baseline on the left side, which the Knicks have used very well to their advantage.
Fans thought the Spurs perhaps touched it last, but also booing because McLeod is not getting Jackson in. It will be Starks and Quinnett. Avery Johnson challenging Ewing that time. And the Knicks still lead by 2. New York timeout. 3:29 in the third quarter.
Yo, Mike, do you know how you defy gravity? Do you know?
Yes, Mars. I overcome the acceleration of gravity by the application of my muscle power in the vertical plane, thus producing low-altitude Earth orbit.
Man, Money, that's some serious smarts. Where you learn that?
In school, Mars.
Mr. Jordan, do you have something you'd like to share with the rest of the class?
Yeah, don't be stupid. Stay in school.
Do what Michael Jordan says.
Stay in school.
When you want the best for your family, choose Buttercrust.
Start your day the healthy way with a nourishing breakfast, including freshly baked Buttercrust bread, enriched with vitamins, calcium, proteins, and iron. And it's cholesterol-free. Insist on premium quality Buttercrust.
When you want the best.
Better tasting, fresher tasting Buttercrust.
It's the best time ever to get a Mazda 626 because the value of the 626 is greater than ever. Get a 626LX now and save big on a Mazda value pack. Plus, get $1,500 cash back from Mazda. It's our biggest deal ever, but it won't last forever. Right time, right car, right deal.
At Red McCombs, Universal, Benson Ingram Park, and Tom Benson Mazda now.
You're invited to play in the most unique golf tournament ever held in San Antonio, the first annual Children's Shelter of San Antonio Open, to be held March 2nd and 3rd. All proceeds will benefit the Children's Shelter of San Antonio.
The entrance fee is your donation payable directly to the children's shelter, and you get 2 days of golf at the club at Sonterra and much more. For complete details, contact the club at Sonterra. Well worth your while if you have time and can make it out Saturday and Sunday. It's 64-62 New York. Backcourt scoring strongly favoring the Knicks. Wilkins with 13 leading their guards. And the Spur guards yet to heat up. Quinnett, Wilkins, and Ewing. Good job by Gerald to draw all the defensive attention that time.
Again, the key for the Knicks here in the second half has been the penetration on the Spurs defense.
Cummings almost lost the handle. Robinson off the hand of Terry. Pass thrown behind him. Starks on the break. Quinnett to finish. And it's the Knicks by 6. Elliott underneath. Robinson got 3. Oakley made him miss. And a nice save to Starks. Starks at the other end could not finish. And he sneaks up from behind Willie, knocks it away to Wilkins.
Well, the Spurs not playing good team ball nowadays because what's happening here is no one's helping out. Willie had 2 guys coming up from behind and no one said a word to him.
Knicks just wanted more. No comparison to the team that started this game. 5 to shoot. Spurs again struggle to get one off in time, and Cummings just at the buzzer buries a 20-footer. 13 for Terry, 70-64. Quinnett, second rounder a year ago. Oakley fouled by Cummings. Not the place where you usually want one. About 28 feet out. His first, third against the team, and the first in the last 2 minutes. Real simple to talk about, not so simple to do, but the Spurs just have to get their effort level back.
The intensity levels dropped off considerably. Ever since Robinson went out of the game, you saw it drop off dramatically, and they haven't found it yet. They're hanging in there, though. They just haven't found the killer instinct necessary to put this team away.
Now reaching down to get Sean Higgins some time. Only 1 minute in the last 3 games total for Sean. Really hoping he can light him up from outside. Ewing has lit him up from inside in the third period. He's got 10 of his 21 since halftime. Cummings beats everybody the other way, up to 15.
On the assist from the point guard, David Robinson.
72-66 New York. Wilkins, top of the key. Look out for Wilkins in this fourth quarter. Almost 80% of his points over the last 3 games have come after halftime for Gerald Wilkins, who rips down the rebound. Limitless energy. Here's Quinnett. Running one-hander good. It's an 8-point game again. It's like the team switched uniforms after the first quarter.
Spurs not getting back, set up on defense, allowing them to come in the back door, allowing the passing to work. They're just not playing tough defense again.
Willie again with the long 2, toe on the line. Quinnett clears, 30 seconds. And now 20 to shoot. Difference of about 7 seconds. Loose ball goes to Quinnett. Now taken away by Higgins. Some of his trademark hustle. And an open court foul by Wilkins against Avery Johnson. That is his first, 5th against the team. Johnson will get free throws.
And they'll get Green back in the game and Paul Pressey, too, to try and get this offense and, more importantly, their defense going. Paul's been very good with steals lately. Sidney's been very good on the boards. And also give a chance for David Robinson to take a breather.
It's hard to figure. David has not played a bad game. This is not like the Clipper game Friday night, such a disaster, but you look up with 16.5 seconds to go as Wilkins takes a rest to a hand. 16.5 seconds of the third quarter, and David has 2 rebounds. There really is no explanation for that. He normally gets sky high for the Olajuwons and the Ewings and just has not shown that so far. But we've still got a quarter of basketball to go. And the Spurs are down by 6. Starks checking the clock. Must stop with a pick and roll. With 4 seconds. Must stop. Too long, and Tucker loses the board as we reach the end of the 3rd period. And the Spurs, who once led by 18, trailed by 6 with 12 more minutes to go. 74-68 will return with more Spurs basketball after this word from Diamond Shamrock.
Well, this feller filled up his car with Diamond Shamrock's Advanced Formula GTC. Got a powerful detergent additive, cleans your fuel system. And then he just took off. Literally. Yeah, he usually clears that by a good 10 feet. Must have been in a hurry.
Advanced Formula GTC, only from Diamond Shamrock. It's not your regular gas.
If you want to get here, or here, or even here, you're going to have to start somewhere. Foot Locker, where it all begins.
Welcome back to the Spurs Center. Cordell Patrick with you. The New York Knicks are supposedly a team that doesn't play that well at the Garden. Could have fooled the San Antonio Spurs in the 3rd period. Knicks up 74-68. Terry Cummings is our Diamond Shamrock Spur of the moment. Only 4 points. That's because it was very lean in the 3rd period for the Spurs. 15 points overall for Terry Cummings, our Diamond Shamrock Spur of the moment. Let's get you updated on other scores around the NBA. Look at the Miami Heat and what they're doing to the Detroit Pistons in the 4th period. 74-64. Milwaukee and New Jersey in the 4th quarter. The New Jersey Nets won better than the Bucks, 72-71. Portland and Atlanta, 47-45 at the half. Of course, the Atlanta Hawks with that long home court win streak. Let's take you back out to the Garden to wrap it up. 4th quarter, Dave Barnett and Greg Simmons.
Well, 74-68 New York. Knicks by 6. They missed their first 8 shots tonight. The Spurs hit 9 of their first 10. And at the end of 3 quarters, the Knicks out shooting the Spurs, 51% to 48%. They're out rebounding them, 37-26, led by Ewing's 12. I don't know what happened to the Spurs' intensity after it was 19-1, but it has yet to return.
Well, that strategy by the Knicks paid off. Lull them to sleep in the 1st quarter, sneak up on them in the 2nd.
They look like geniuses if that really was their strategy, which I somehow doubt. A lot of effective substitutions by McLeod, including a couple of nice plays by Starks, who opens against Johnson at the point. Oakley to Quinnett. Higgins put a body on him, but he still drops it in. He's got 6. Double his average. The lead is 8 again. After a 28-point 1st quarter, here's Cummings, easy as 2 of the night, 17 to lead the Spurs, who had 28 in the 1st quarter, 22 in the 2nd, only 18 in the 3rd. After a 16-point 1st quarter, Knicks with 34, twice that many in the 2nd, 24 more in the 3rd. Brent Tucker for the long 2, never really set his feet that time. Oakley with a hustling rebound, his 8th. Anderson and Green lead the Spurs, each with 7 boards. Pressey chasing Tucker, 5 on the shot clock. Must stop against Green, down low, knocked out of bounds. Spurs ball. Knicks might not have gotten the shot off in time anyway. John McLeod took over for Stu Jackson December 3rd. They were 1 game under 500 when he took over. They are 5 under McLeod, 18-23.
Avery Johnson looked like goaltending by Mustaf.
Yeah, you'd have to say so because he hit the backboard at the same time.
Well, Mustaf with a loose ball foul. His fourth. And the first against the team here in the fourth quarter. Of course, Knicks general manager Al Bianchi. Hot water basically all year. A lot of chance of Al must go ringing through this building this year. So he went to the man who used to work under as McLeod's assistant for so many years in Phoenix. They may yet get it together. Going for their fourth straight win tonight.
Yeah, and their first winning month since February a year ago.
Starks. Too easy. Should not be that easy to go down the baseline.
Well, that's one problem with Avery Johnson. You got to cut out that baseline, force your guard to the inside where you can pick up some help. You're not going to get any help by letting him blow by you down the baseline.
And the three-point play. Knicks now with their biggest lead of the game at 9. 79-70, 10 minutes to go. Green travels.
Tries to force the shot, and the process commits a turnover.
That is the 10th Spur turnover. Well, the Knicks get the luxury of adding to this lead while resting frontliners Wilkins, Cheeks, Vandeweghe, and Ewing. Long one by Starks. Green went for the board, then banged with Oakley, and it's out of bounds off Oakley to the Spurs, who will get their frontliners back. Robinson, Elliott, and Anderson returning for Higgins, Green, and Johnson. This has got to be, not to put it all on one man, which is not fair, but this has got to be David Robinson coming through with a huge fourth quarter.
This has got to be it. He's got to answer now. Ewing's challenged him. Now he has to answer in the fourth period.
No, they don't let Ewing in yet. So Robinson guarded here by Oakley. Anderson with a bounce underneath to him. Double team by Starks. Anderson, a good solid drive to drop it in on the run. Double figures for Willie.
Yeah, Willie uses both hands to ensure that ball gets a roll because he had defenders on both sides of him.
Tucker able to penetrate off the glass. Well, it's the Portland games in reverse. When you look at drives like that, and they have become a trend. This, again, the biggest lead all night for New York, up to 9. Outside shot won't fall for Pressey. Cummings had good position underneath. Knocked out of bounds off Mustaf. Spurs ball. Here come Cheeks and Ewing.
Well, for the final 8.5 minutes, you see them battle down to the wire.
Elliott against Quinnett with a Robinson screen. Sean, good looking 10-footer. He's got 16. Led the Spurs in scoring 4 times all year, but in 2 of the last 3 games, including 25 big ones on Tuesday. Tucker, shot clock at 7. Oakley, offensive foul as he sends Pressey sprawling.
Good move by Paul Pressey. He was set trying to cut off the lane, something they haven't been able to do tonight on the pass. And Oakley picks up the foul.
Number 4 is the first Knick player with 4. Beg your pardon, Mustaf also with 4. And for the Spurs, Robinson still with 3, and no one with more than 3. Avery Johnson back in. 8-minute mark. Spurs down 7. Good duck under move by Robinson and counted with a foul.
What a move by David. That quickness, and he just caught Ewing off guard. I don't know how he's able to snake in between Ewing and the baseline here. There's just not that much room when he goes around Patrick Ewing. There's the foul. There's the basket. Here's another angle. Look down the baseline. Look how much room he has here. Not that much at all. And watch that right foot. I mean, he's got to come back up from behind the backboard.
Well, still struggling at the line, but he does force Ewing to pick up his 4th personal. And the lead is down from 9 to 5. Big defensive series here. Shot clock at 8. Ewing double, cross court. Quinnett straddling the 3-point arc. And McLeod's decision to go to Quinnett a few games ago and sit down Kenny Walker looking like a bit of brilliance. Deflection away from Robinson. Picked up by Oakley, who throws it into another area code. Luckily for him, Tucker was there, and the miss from 20. Quinnett knocks the rebound away from Elliott, but Evans says it will be Spurs ball.
Well, Brian Quinnett, just out of his 2nd year out of Washington State, he's showing some excellent hustle tonight.
Anderson, as they hope Ewing might pick up his 5th. Robinson almost slipped at the high post. Quinnett holding off the drive attempt by Elliott. Now Ewing on him. Robinson had a mismatch, but not much time. 2 to shoot. Avery Johnson. That's the spur. The Knicks won't mind leaving all alone, but Avery burns this one. It's a 5-point game, and the Knicks call time. They have one more full timeout. 6:34 to go.
Why do women always know when you're not telling them the whole story? And why do they always change plans at the last minute? And why do we keep putting up with them?
Why ask why? Try Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So while women may remain a mystery, refreshment won't.
There's a moment in time, maybe once in your life, when you feel that you're ready to fly.
Innovative aerodynamics, fuel-injected multi-valve engines, anti-lock braking systems, 4-wheel independent suspensions. This is advanced automotive technology for the 90s. This is Pontiac excitement. Don't settle for less than the ride of your life. Get on the Pontiac Express. Visit your nearest South Texas Pontiac dealers now.
Nothing's hotter than a Harley, nothing's hotter than Ferrari, nothing's hotter than the Express News. Get ready for a rhythm you can't refuse. Nothing's hotter than the Express. Nothing's hotter than Express. Nothing's hotter than News. Nothing's hotter than the Express News. Nothing's hotter than the
Well, 6:34 to play. Knicks by 5. Robinson outplayed so far by Patrick Ewing. And the Spurs outshot by the Knicks after their brilliant start where they hit 9 of their first 10. 83-78, but from 9 down, the Spurs with a couple of sparks since then.
Yep, it's been back to the drawing board here in the 4th quarter. No secret what takes you there. It's defense. The Spurs trying to get some pressure in that paint area to cut off the quick slashing passes and stop the penetrating New York Knicks.
And a matchup to watch here. Wilkins guarded by Anderson as Gerald returns. Got 15 points to date. Ewing. Johnson to double down. Here's Wilkins. He'll go to work. 6 to shoot. Lost it. But they'll call Willie Anderson for the reach-in as he attempted the deflection. His team second foul.
Well, he had good position on him, too.
Wilkins trying to argue that he was shooting. No one agrees with him, and they'll inbound it. Spurs from here on to Boston tonight. They play tomorrow, 7 o'clock Texas time. That's a TNT telecast. Radio pregame at 6:30. Ewing with 23. Knicks take their cue from him. He didn't do much in the first quarter. It's become big since then. Robinson's big quarter was the first, and he's struggled since. Cummings from the high post. Good sign if he finally regains the touch. 19 tonight.
Because it opened it up inside for David. They've got 2 bodies on David now every time down the court.
And it should surprise no one in a black uniform. Almost every team takes that same defensive tack. Let anybody but Robinson beat you. They dare the outside shots to fall. Johnson hit a big one. Cummings just hit a big one. If they can hold him down here, they can cut it to 3 or perhaps 2. Quinnett for 3. And Anderson with a rebound. That could be huge. With a lot of time still left. 5.5 minutes.
Need to score on this possession.
Quick shot. Elliott needed that one. Great shot if it falls. If it doesn't, it was too early. Let's go with a 2-man game. Wilkins and Ewing. Stays outside. Pops another one. 12 of 21. 25 points for Ewing. Anderson to the spin. Ball away. Perfect. That's his move. Willie with a dozen. Holding his own with Wilkins so far. Knicks will keep the game very slow from here on in. Patiently look. Usually for Ewing or Wilkins. Cheeks 5 to shoot. Robinson with only his 3rd rebound. 10 below his league leading average. 18 below his career high from Tuesday. Anderson got a great break, and they can't get the 2. Now finally Robinson, the 3rd try. The break was that it bounced right off of Charles Oakley's chest and back to Willie.
Well, I couldn't see who he was trying to get to unless he just lost the handle on it when he went up.
I think he did, and luckily it was too quick for Oakley to grab it. Ewing ball away. Cummings snatches a big one-handed board.
Big turnaround here. Knicks go cold on the offensive side.
Avery Johnson all alone. Not this time. A hustling 14th rebound for Ewing. 87-84 Knicks. From 18 down to as much as 9 up. Long 2, not long enough for Quinnett. Robinson fouled deep backcourt. And that will be number 5 on Charles Oakley. Not good judgment. 89 feet away from the bucket. You don't pick up your 5th foul. We'll have a timeout. 3:24 to play in a 3-point game.
In about an hour, you can get a divine new look. A refined, designed, mighty fine new look. In about an hour, get the right look for you at iMaster's Optical Superstore. With eyewear specialists to help, and our in-store lab to have your glasses ready in about an hour. For the look you've been looking for, in about an hour, get a better look at iMaster's. Buy one, get one free, or we'll pay up to $40 for your eye exam.
Warning, cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact, independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
It's the best time ever to get a Mazda MX-6 because the value of the MX-6 is greater than ever. Get an MX-6 LX now and save big on a Mazda value pack. Plus, get $1,500 cash back from Mazda. It's our biggest deal ever, but it won't last forever. Right time, right car, right deal.
At Red McCombs, Universal, Benson Ingram Park, and Tom Benson Mazda now.
Sprite, Minute Maid, Orange Soda, Church's Chicken, and the San Antonio Light present a special collector's set of authentic NBA hoops cards featuring 7 Spurs players, including David Robinson.
You also receive one of Spurs coach Larry Brown and the first ever Spurs Coyote card. Purchase specially marked 12 packs of Sprite or Minute Maid orange soda at participating retailers. Remove the trading card coupon found on these 12-pack containers and take it to any nearby participating Church's Chicken restaurant to receive your set of cards. This offer good only while the supply of trading cards lasts. One set of cards per visit. Details in the San Antonio. Well, by quarters, the Spurs offense winding down a little bit better here in the fourth. And they have held the Knicks only 13 in the fourth. 15,002 on hand. I want to know where the other 4,000 basketball fans in New York are. They have no excuse not to be here. 87-84.
Well, Pressey was held up inside the time trying to cut to the basket.
It's going to be Vandeweghe's fourth and the team's fourth.
And locked elbows up as he was trying to cut in after dishing it off to David.
Spurs have only 2 team fouls and the shooting returning here in the fourth quarter. Robinson doubled, overthrew Pressey. It went to Elliott. Three-pointer good. Tie game. For the second straight game, Elliott with a timely three-point bomb. We're under 3 minutes.
If you look back, that's going to be the biggest basket of the game as the Spurs pull this one out.
Gerald Wilkins stops, pops, Knicks by 2. Gerald with 17. Cheeks to bother the backcourt. 2.5 minutes. Anderson, low post. Robinson might have traveled. He did.
I'm calling for the walk here. Willie fetting the ball, and as David tried to go up, he's going to challenge that he was pushed in the process. Let's take a look. Here's Willie looking to feed. He finds David. Now here's Ewing putting the body on right there. He says he got pushed with the left leg. He's got a case.
But if the Knicks are at home, it would have been Ewing's 5th. It wasn't that flagrant a foul, and they didn't call it. Vandeweghe, Knicks by 4. Spurs timeout. They fight from 9 back, full even on Elliott's three-pointer, and the Knicks answer with 4 in a row. 2:06 to play.
Diamond Shamrock, you're just around the corner store. When you run out, run in.
Yo, Morris Blackman, here with the lattice lamp.
I am the genie on the lamp. I'm granting you just one wish.
What should I wish for? Do you know?
$1 million?
Nah, tax problem.
A new car?
Can't drive. I got it.
A wop babaloo mop bam boom.
Look, Mom, I can fly. I like that, Genie.
I am the greatest.
Win a chance to be a Spur for a day and a trip for 2 to see the Spurs take on the Suns in Phoenix. You'll receive your own uniform, workout gear, and NBA contract on March the 21st, and the Spurs take on Orlando. You'll receive 20 tickets to the game and be introduced with the Spurs starting lineup. Go by any participating Builder Square in San Antonio, Austin, and Corpus Christi, and pick up your entry blank at the special Sean Elliott Spurs Coyote display. No purchase is necessary, and you can enter as often as you like. There's plenty of other prizes you could win, including Spurs road trips, gift certificates to the Spurs shop, and fine Sylvania products. Presented by Builder Square and Sylvania.
Well, 2:06 remaining. New York 91, Spurs 87. Spurs have 2 full timeouts plus a 20. The Knicks 1 full timeout plus a 20. And here comes Paul Pressey. Every possession a must from here on in. They look for Willie. Stripped by Cheeks, fouled by Cheeks. That's the 5th against the team. So Anderson to the line can cut the margin to 2.
When it gets down to just trying to get a basket and Davis being double teamed, the first guy they always go to is Willie. Second option is Sean.
Cloud didn't think it was much of a foul, letting Mike Costabile know about it. First trip to the line for Willie. 80% for the year. His 13th point makes it 91-88. Well, that was the problem with all the free throws in the second Portland game. He didn't get to the line enough. Stroked those two nicely. Wilkins, Vandeweghe, and Ewing guarded here by Cummings. He came way short, knocked out. Oakley says Knicks ball, and I think Hugh Evans is going to agree.
But the Spurs are getting bodies on defense. They're fronting them in, and that's the key to cutting off the pass, fronting their men on defense.
Hugh Evans threw Cheeks the ball. He wasn't ready for it. They didn't appreciate it, so he threw it right back to Evans. Now he's ready. It was 13 years in the league. You take nothing off nobody. Wilkins, 1:25 to play. Now Ewing. And Robinson got a hand on it. Ewing powers it in. What an amazing jumper that is. Timeout Spurs. We said it before, not a whole lot more you can ask a defender guarding Patrick Ewing, but it still went. 4-point game.
There's a moment in time, maybe once in your life, when you feel that you're ready to fly.
Innovative aerodynamics, fuel-injected multi-valve engines, anti-lock braking systems, four-wheel independent suspensions. This is advanced automotive technology for the 90s. This is Pontiac excitement. Don't settle for less than the ride of your life. Get on the Pontiac Express. Visit your nearest South Texas Pontiac dealers now.
Are you ready for beef so tender it melts in your mouth? Beef sizzling with flavor, dripping with juiciness. Well, you're ready for USDA Choice Steakhouse beef from H-E-B. Come on, you can just taste it. Now, what are you waiting for? Come and get it at H-E-B.
Spurs return home against Charles Barkley in the 76ers. 7:30 March 5th for tickets, and there are still a few available. 554 Spurs. That's a pay-per-view broadcast at 7:30. Radio Network hits the air at 7 o'clock. In the meantime, they have a 4-point deficit here with 1:18 to go, and the timeout situation, which so favored the Spurs after the first quarter, is now even.
You and I both thought that when Robinson went out to guard Patrick Ewing that last time down the court, when Ewing made the jumper, we thought he had gotten a hand on the ball for the block, but it's just Ewing's incredible power that pushed the shot in.
3 big fourth quarter field goals. Mark Jackson sits all night tonight. And the Spurs will inbound at midcourt with Anderson guarded by Gerald Wilkins. They go right to the Admiral, double teamed, open in the corner. Pressey, too much. Rebound fumbled away by David, and he screams it himself. Absolute frustration.
Perfect position, had eye contact on the ball, brought it down with his right hand and couldn't grasp it.
They really needed that chance. That would have been an easy follow in a 2-point game. Knicks content to play keep away. Shot clock under 10. Game clock under a minute. Wilkins, 4 to shoot. Top of the key. 6-point game. Spurs call another timeout. They need a miracle.
It's the best time ever to get a Mazda 626 because the value of the 626 is greater than ever. Get a 626LX now and save big on a Mazda value pack. Plus, get $1,500 cash back from Mazda. It's our biggest deal ever, but it won't last forever. Right time, right car, right deal.
At Red McCombs, Universal, Benson Ingram Park, and Tom Benson Mazda now.
You'd only need one key to open both entry lock and deadbolt if you had the Schlage Security Lock Set combination. And now the set's at one low price. Builders Square, the warehouse with everything for your house. The Stanley 1/2 horsepower heavy-duty garage door opener. It's easy to install. It's even easier to use. Builders Square, the warehouse with everything for your house.
Be sure to stop by any one of your 7 Gun Automotive dealers and register your son or daughter for the Top Gun Basketball Clinic featuring Sean Elliott and Spurs coaches. Each winner gets to participate in the clinic plus receive a Top Gun poster courtesy of the Gun family of automotive dealers. No purchase necessary to win. Well, 49.2 seconds to play. 2 huge fourth-quarter jumpers by Gerald Wilkins, the last one to put New York up by 6. Spurs needed the defensive stop. They did not get it.
There's one thing we haven't seen tonight has been the killer instinct. It did not come about. We saw it in the both Portland games, but we haven't seen it tonight.
At an 18-point lead at 19-1, and this has been a New York clinic since then. To their credit, they didn't die. But the Spurs had a foot on their throat, and so far didn't finish the job. Still some time left. Elliott in deep. Robinson will go to the line. Mo Cheeks, the doubling defender, with his third. Robinson tonight 3 of 5 from the line. 7 of 13 Tuesday. He has not been his usual sharp self at the stripe. Gets the roll here and has his 20th point. Avery Johnson replaces Paul Pressey. Interesting, with the Spurs about to need a defensive stop. That's real interesting. Got them both. 4-point game.
And especially when you have to take a look at Boston tomorrow night. Larry Bird finds his shot. Scores 35 points in Boston's last victory.
Wilkins fouled by Robinson. Knicks did a perfect job of beating backcourt pressure that time, and they ended up with Robinson against 2 offensive men. All he could do was come out and prevent a 3-point play. Bird last night got it back. 35 points as the Timberwolves lost their 10th straight on the road. Bird and the Celtics tomorrow evening from the Boston Garden. Spurs had that foul to give. They now have 4 as a team. Quickly, they pick up their 5th. It's on Pressey, who returned. I think Brown got Pressey out, Johnson in, just in case they got Johnson a chance to pick up the foul. And he back out, replaced by Pressey. And it'll be Wilkins, an 81% free throw shooter. 1 of 2 tonight. Knicks by 4, 35.8 seconds to go. His 4th straight 20-point game after 19 in a row under 20.
Well, he called this offense a perfect situation for him because he gets to shoot on the run a lot. He likes that. He likes taking the ball and just firing.
Terry Cummings, spin move, and he'll go to the line. Boy, he needed that one. He knows it.
A couple of them. Robinson needed the last one down the court to fall. It didn't. TC should have had that one too.
Mo Cheeks with his 4th foul, 27.5 seconds. If Terry hits them both, it's a 4-point game. Spurs again have to get a foul, if not a quick steal. Up against it, against a pretty good free throw shooting New York team. And that really hurts. As again, Avery Johnson checks in, this time for Willie Anderson.
That battle dominated by the man on the right tonight. Missed them both, got the board. Robinson undercut, and Cheeks got a poke on the nose as he picks up his 5th foul.
One thing they didn't want was a 3-point play. Fouled David before he ever had a chance to put the ball in the air.
Boy, an enormous break. The Spurs end up with that ball. And a chance to get the 2 with 24 seconds. He's going to end up with respectable offensive numbers. 22 points, 8 of 13 shooting, now 23. Ewing out rebounding him 14-5. Wilkins fouled quickly by Pressey, his 4th. So again, they put Wilkins on the stripe at a 4-point game in 23.1 seconds. And Brown gets Willie Anderson back in for Johnson. McLeod, a quick last word with Vandeweghe.
Pretty much the way this series has gone over the past 6 years. Knicks win here, Spurs win in the arena.
Well, but it always hurts when you blow a lead on the road, and especially an 18-point lead as easily as the Spurs built it in this one. This is one that sticks with you for a while.
Especially against a team who's only won 12 here at home.
Well, the door's still slightly open. Yeah, if ever there was a team begging to be put to sleep at home, it was this team. They let them back in, and they're living to regret it. Knicks by 5. And Elliott open for the 3, and then Ewing flew at him, knocked out to Anderson. In the corner, Pressey with 9 seconds and air ball. Oakley got poked in the eye right before he got fouled with 5.8 seconds. And John McLeod putting this one in his pocket. 5.8 seconds remaining between the Knicks and their 4th straight win, their longest streak under John McLeod. It would make him 19-23 as he tries to turn this season in a positive direction for the Knicks.
And they won 2 in a row. The headlines in the paper here in New York said streak. Now it's justified.
7 points for Oakley, 10 boards. McLeod nearing 700 career wins. This is number 694. 193. And the bomb by Willie, no good, and it is all over. An 18-point deficit erased in a big hurry in the first half, and the Knicks outplay the Spurs throughout the second half. And they take the home court win here at Madison Square Garden. We'll return in a moment.
If Tolini makes this putt, a 20-footer that should break to the right, he'll be up to 5.
More pepper taste. 3 diets.
It'll make you, shake you, take you to the moon. Brand new Diet Dr. Pepper. Really tastes great. It'll shock you, knock you to your knees. Once it starts, it never quits. There's no stopping the taste.
New Diet Dr. Pepper with 100% NutraSweet.
When I was little, my parents wanted me to play the piano. I could just imagine playing for a big crowd. They'd be sitting out there applauding my performance. Today, I play for big crowds, all right. But I'm not responsible for the music.
Plans for tomorrow can change, which is why First Gibraltar San Antonio helps you plan for the future today. First Gibraltar San Antonio, for years to come.
Shine a light on you, shine a light on me. Keep your Bud Light shining for everyone to see.
Every day, more and more people are getting together over an ice-cold Bud Light.
Well, you can taste it, you can feel it, you know you got it right. 'Cause everything else is just a light. Just keep your Bud Light shining. Bud Light, shine on.
here. Or even here. You're gonna have to start somewhere. Foot Locker, where it all begins.
Well, once again, the 5-hole before 15,002 at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks 100, the Spurs 93. You never would have guessed this when it was 19-1.
Not at all. And the key, I think, here has to be on defense. Once again, you bring into the fact of what did David Robinson have in the last game? 21 rebounds, and how many tonight? Only 5? Boy, there's a big difference for you. Also in blocks and rejections. No blocks tonight to Patrick Ewing's 3.
Ewing wins the individual battle. Knicks win the war.